Hello dear students, myself Niyati Thakur, and today we are going to learn about absorption of drugs. In my last lecture, I have explained the terms biopharmaceutics, pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. So today let us learn in deep the process of pharmacokinetic. And you very well know that the first pharmacokinetic process is absorption. After listening to this lecture, you will be able to understand different processes involved in drug therapeutics. You will be able to define the term absorption, and you will also get the knowledge of different routes of administration, their advantages and disadvantages. Now let us understand the process of ADME or pharmacokinetics in detail. On your screen, you can see a flow chart which has marked different processes like pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, therapeutics, clinical pharmacokinetics and biopharmaceutics. You very well know that the API and the excipient, they are formulated into a suitable dosage form. Now, once the dosage form has been designed, after oral administration of drug, the drug is released in GI tract and is dissolved. So after the release of drug, the drug is absorbed from GI tract and a fraction of drug reaches systemic circulation and is responsible to show the therapeutic effect. Whereas a fraction of drug is decomposed, metabolized, bound to proteins or excreted. So such processes that deal with decomposition, metabolism, binding or excretion of drug, together they are called as disposition processes. And the drug is disposed by two ways. The first one is distribution and the second one is elimination. Now all this happens when the drug is orally administered. So after oral administration, the drug will be dissolved, it will be released, a fraction of drug will be absorbed from GI tract and the fraction of drug will be metabolized or excreted. Similarly, when the drug is given in the form of parenteral route or via parenteral route, all these processes like dissolution, metabolism will be bypassed and the drug will directly reach in systemic circulation. Now once the drug reaches in systemic circulation, it will be distributed in extravascular tissues. EVT stands for extravascular tissues. And then it will cross the membranes and reach the site of action and bind to the receptor to show the pharmacological response. This pharmacological response can be therapeutic to cure the disease or maybe toxic effect. So the processes which involve selection of drug, selection of excipient and formulating the combination of drug and excipient into a formulation or in the dosage form, they are together called as pharmaceutical processes. The processes that happen after administration of drug from the suitable route of administration till the pharmacological response. Together they are called as pharmacokinetic processes, which involve absorption of drug, which involve binding of drug, which involve metabolism of drug and excretion of drug. So together ADME is also called as pharmacokinetics. The stage where the pharmacological response is seen or observed is the stage of pharmacodynamics. So pharmacodynamics is a process to understand how body reacts with the drug. And when we study the therapeutic and toxic effect, the process is called as therapeutics. Also, the stage from oral administration till the therapeutic and toxic effect, when we study such processes together, the branch is called as clinical pharmacokinetics. So in this slide, we have studied pharmaceutics, which is a branch of science that deals with formulation of drug, pharmacokinetics together, which involve ADME, pharmacodynamic, it is the behavior of body towards the drug, and therapeutic. In therapeutics, we study the therapeutic and toxic effect of the drug. Now, let us define drug absorption. Drug absorption is defined as movement of unchanged drug from site of administration to systemic circulation. So, drug absorption means the movement of unchanged drug from the site of administration to the systemic circulation, which means the drug will be only absorbed after the movement of drug from its site of administration till it reaches systemic circulation. Following administration, the drug effectiveness can be only assessed by its concentration at site of action. So, the fraction of concentration of drug that has reached the site of action will be responsible for determining the drug effectiveness. The more the concentration at site of action, the more will be the drug effectiveness. However, it is difficult to measure the concentration at site of action, but we can measure the concentration in plasma. So, for a pharmacologist, it is very difficult to measure the exact concentration of drug at the site of action, but the concentration in plasma of the same drug is easy to measure. And therefore, there is one more definition for drug absorption. It is defined as the movement of unchanged drug from the site of administration to the site of measurement, that is the plasma. So the site of measurement is the plasma concentration of drug. Now following this, just watch the movement of drug of molecules. So this yellow color circle represents the drug molecule that has been distributing inside the plasma with respect to time. So you have seen the movement of drug. Now see one more movement of drug, how it moves in the plasma. So the first molecule, it moved through this path and the concentration of drug in plasma did not reach the minimum effective concentration. Whereas in the second case, the drug moved with this path and it has crossed minimum effective concentration level and has shown therapeutic level. In first case, we can say that there is a therapeutic failure of slowly absorbed drug. So in first case, the drug has absorbed slowly and therefore it has not reached the level of minimum effective concentration. And therefore, this type of drug will not be able to show the therapeutic effect. In the second case, the drug has already crossed the minimum effective concentration. It has been rapidly absorbed and completely absorbed and therefore will elicit therapeutic effect. So the level of concentration below minimum effective concentration level is called as subtherapeutic level, and the level of drug in plasma above minimum effective concentration level is called as therapeutic level. So for a drug to show therapeutic efficacy, it should cross minimum effective concentration level very rapidly and should be completely absorbed. So this plot indicates the significance of rate and extent of absorption in drug therapy. The rate of drug absorption and its extent should be optimal to show therapeutic effect. Now, having understood that, let us proceed. Rate and extent of drug absorption plays a very important role to elicit pharmacological effect. Rapidly absorbed drug attains therapeutic level easily and has many advantages. The first one is that it is lesser susceptible to degradation or interaction. So when the drug is rapidly absorbed, it will not be able or susceptible to degrade or interact with the different tissues or plasma proteins. High blood levels are achieved and rapid onset of action is observed. The third advantage is the absorption is uniform, it is greater, and reproducible therapeutic response is seen. So ideally, when you design a formulation or a dosage form, the drug should be rapidly absorbed. Then only the therapeutic effects will be seen. Let us now study the major route of administration. We have three major route of administration. The first one is enteral route. Enteral route is also known as peroral route, and the most common route is GI tract, that is gastrointestinal tract. The other routes are sublingual, buccal, and rectal route. The second one is parenteral route. Parenteral route means administration via injections. So here, when we administer the drug through parenteral route, the administration of drug is through or under one or more layer of skin. The third route of administration is a topical route, which include administration of drug through skin, eyes, or other specific membranes like intranasal, inhalational, intravaginal, and transdermal routes. In this figure, you can see different routes of administration. The first one being ocular delivery means administration is via eyes or over eyes. The absorption takes place through eyes. So we may formulate these ocular delivery systems as eye drops or bioadhesives. The next one is buccal delivery. So buccal delivery is in the cavity of mouth. When we take the drug via mouth, it's called as buccal delivery or oral delivery of the drug. For this buccal delivery, we may place the tablet or mucoadhesives in the cheeks. Or we may also use a spray. The next one is sublingual delivery, wherein we have to place the medicine under the tongue. Sublingual means under the tongue. So the dosage forms are generally in the form of tablets. The next common is oral delivery of drug, where the patient swallows the medicine. So we have capsules, pills, tablets as oral dosage forms. Now coming to intravenous delivery. So injections are more common when we take them as IV. Then is intramuscular. Intramuscular means between the muscles, inside the muscles. So we may have depot. Subcutaneous delivery means administering the drug in the skin. So we may have a depot or implant. Transdermal delivery, that means we have to apply the patch, cream or spray on the skin, on the outer skin of the body. The next one is pulmonary or nasal delivery. So we have aerosols and sprays, and the last one is vaginal or rectal delivery. So the dosage form is gel or suppository. Now, knowing all these routes of administration of drug, let us see the advantages and disadvantages of all these routes. Parenteral delivery. Commonly, the injections are administered intravenously. So for such route of administration, that is IV, bioavailability is 100% because the drug directly reaches the systemic circulation and there is no metabolism or first pass effect. The advantage of such route, that is IV route, is you can get immediate or controlled effect. So injections, as you know, they are used for critical conditions. However, there are certain disadvantages also. There may be adverse reaction, anaphylaxis, skill is required, and tissue may be damaged at the site of administration. The next route of administration is intramuscular route. This route is preferred for both rapid absorption as well as slow absorption. Rapid absorption is seen from aqueous solutions and slow absorption is seen for oily solutions. The advantage is that it is easier to inject intramuscularly rather than intravenously. But there are certain disadvantages of this route, that is, irritating drug can be painful and there are variable rates of absorption. So the rate of absorptions vary. The next route is subcutaneous route, which is resembled by SC. Bioavailability, you can have rapid absorptions as well as slow absorptions. So for rapid absorption, aqueous solutions are required, and for slow absorptions, depot formulations are required. This route is used for vaccines generally and for those drugs that are not absorbed orally. Insulin is given subcutaneously. Nevertheless, the disadvantages are rate of drug absorption depends upon blood flow and injection volume. The next route is enteral route. So we have buccal or sublingual route and oral route. When the drug is administered via buccal cavity or via sublingual route, there is rapid absorption of lipid soluble drugs and there is no pre-systemic metabolism. Means the drug bypass first pass effect. However, such route of administration is not suitable for those drugs that are to be given in high doses. The next route and the most common route is oral route. Bioavailability varies and it depends upon the extent of absorption. This route is safest and easiest route. It is suitable for immediate as well as controlled release drug. And the major disadvantages are the drug may be unstable in GI tract, which cause GI tract irritation. Then there may be pre-systemic metabolism. Pre-systemic metabolism means metabolism before reaching systemic circulation. And there may be also erratic absorption. Erratic means unpredictable or variable. The next enteral route is rectal or peroral route. Now, bioavailability is also unpredictable and variable because the absorption may vary from suppository to suppository. So, many formulation characteristics we need to focus on to get a good bioavailability for rectal route. The main advantages of such route is it is useful when patient cannot swallow and it can be used for local and systemic effect. However, there is unpredictable absorption. Suppositories can move from one place to the another or from one position to another, and it involves patient's discomfort. The other two routes which are equally important for absorption of drug are transdermal and inhalational route. In case of transdermal, it allows slow absorption of drug and increased absorption of drug. The advantages being patch is easy to remove and apply. There is continuous release for specific period of time. Lipid soluble drugs with low molecular weight and low dose can be given very efficiently, and low pre-systemic metabolism effect is seen. But there are disadvantages also, which include irritation caused by patch or drug, permeability through skin layers varies with site, age, gender, etc. The absorption is also determined by the type of cream or ointment base, as this cream or ointment base affects drug release and absorption. The next route is inhalational route. So this route is used whenever fast or rapid absorption is required. It's used for local effect or systemic effect. However, the particle size of drug determines anatomic placement in respiratory tract. So whenever we are formulating aerosol or any other inhalational dosage form, we should be very careful with particle size of the drug. The drugs given by inhalational route may stimulate cough reflex. The patient may feel coughing. Some drugs may also be swell. So to summarize today's lecture, we have studied the pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, pharmaceutics and therapeutics with the help of flowchart. We have defined the process of absorption, and we have also seen how the bioavailability and therapeutic effect has impact with respect to drug absorption. Next, we have also studied the several routes of administration, their advantages and disadvantages. I hope you have understood the concept. Have a good day. Thank you.